Radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Rapid Fire Comment Response for December 28th through January the 3rd. These are just comments. You know, sometimes they're special, sometimes they're not, but it's just comments. All right, it's not comment of the week. These are not the best. They're just comments. Sean Appenzeller. Rick, have you seen RGT85's needy thumbnails? Instead of the mouth open, now he looks like he's holding in a huge dump. Well, I saw that thumbnail. It looks freaking hilarious. Freaking hilarious. But you know what? His mouth is not open. Right? So, I mean, let's just be happy about that. Maybe some of his contemporaries can lead by his example and shut their fucking mouths on the thumbnail. Okay? Also, he's not doing the Stevie Richards intro anymore, which is two good things. Next up, we got Phoenix Splash TV. Check out his early Halloween special. It's pretty cool. I think I might have seen that one, because I watched a couple, and I think that one might have came up. I don't know. I might check out some more early Happy Console Gamer, you know? It's just refreshing to see him, you know, early on. But, you know, I mean, I might not, because there's far better YouTube channels out there. But, hey, I'm willing to throw the guy a bone, all right? Willing to throw him a bone. Eddie from Texas. I played The Last Remnant on the 360 years ago. I enjoyed it, though I thought it was good. And I didn't know that there was a remake. I need it now. Well, hopefully the remake fixed a lot of the issues that, you know, Johnny Millennium actually criticized from the game. Imagine that. Being critical of something. Hopefully finish some of those issues. Fix some of those issues. And again, fucking talk, you know. I don't know what it is. It's not because I'm drinking a little bit, right? You know, sometimes I drink at night, okay? Don't judge me, because I'm just chilling. It's not like this is a comment of the week. You know, I can drink during these. I don't care. Yeah, but about that game, it looks pretty interesting. You know, I might give it a try. Where is the remake at? Is it on Xbox and PlayStation 4? Where all can I get the remake, is my question. Todd Rosemaneth. The truth of the matter is everyone has time. It's just how we manage it. And you are right. James is constantly saying for years before Mike left that he don't have time. I'm sorry, lots of people have family and responsibilities. And you are right. He has no day job. 15 seconds for a 15-year loyalty, longtime friend, and a minute for Screenwave. It is BS. Yeah, 15 years for 15 seconds. Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. Now, some people say, hey, they're still friends, and hey, Rick, you know, hey, no. It comes down to the YouTube channel. I think it comes down to the YouTube channel. Unless, maybe here's a thought. Okay, maybe here's a thought. I wonder if James actually had to beg to get 15 seconds to talk about Mike. Maybe he did, right? But even then, I think about how, well, you know, if you're going to stick up for your friend, I don't know. There's a lot of different things here, and I really don't feel like discussing it anymore at the moment. There's a lot of things going on. Here's what I'm saying. I just don't believe it's I don't believe it's the story that everyone wants to tell us, okay? There's different moving parts here. There's Screenwave, there's Mike, there's James, okay? There's different moving parts here, and I just don't believe the story as it's been told, okay? Nobody alone. They're still friends until Mike's lawyer gets involved and things start becoming about money, which is what I'm thinking this whole thing is about. Very well could be. Maybe there's an NDA. Maybe Mike wants some money. Like I said, this is not the time I really want to get into it in depth. You know, rapid fire is what I'm saying. Haddington Rose. My rims are whatever came with the car. Sometimes cars come with really good rims. Sometimes they're nice. You know, it used to be where, you know, cars would only come with hubcaps. And then first thing you would do would upgrade those to nice wheels, nice steel wheels or alloys or, you know, chromes and whatnot. But nowadays, as far as car customization, some cars come out of the factory with some really nice stuff on them, most specifically audio systems. DVD Fever Games. I did watch him for a while, but as well as realizing how lazy he was, I drew the line when he forgave John Hancock for his museum scam, after previously criticizing him. RTU is a joke. Well, I don't think he forgave him for the museum scam. I don't think he brought up the museum scam. Did he? I might be wrong on this. My memory might be fuzzy, but he actually forgave him for the false copyright strikes. Yeah, he forgave them. So his spine just completely disappeared. took away the good he did because he couldn't stick to it. So that's why it's just sad is what I'm saying. One of the worst things Rich did last year, that's what it was. Why even bring him to the attention of people and hold him to the fire, but then, everything's fine, everything's okay. It fucking sucked, to be honest. Mecha Zeus. He's a nothing type channel, but he has one positive attribute. He ripped the hell out of Pat the Nest Punk Ian, decimated them. And if anyone needs to be cut down, it would be those two creeps. But then again, anyone that exploits a shallow, entitled master e-beggar has at least one good quality, even if he himself is a snake oil salesman. Well, that is true. Sometimes even the worst people, I'm not going to say Rich is one of the worst people. Okay, I'm not saying that. I mean, he's a shameless e-beggar, a lazy full-time YouTuber, but I'm not going to say he's one of the worst people. All right, let me clarify that. I will say, however, that I did not see him rip the hell out of Pat the Nest Punk and Ian. I think it's probably pick your poison between all of them. So let's just say I don't really have any dog in the fight. There's a lot of things about those individuals I just personally don't like. But again, those individuals are nowhere near the worst people on YouTube. Okay? Blade Brown. I think the same reason DaBaby. Is that a rapper name? DaBaby? DaBaby. Not DaBaby. Not DaBaby. What was that fucking dinosaur character? Not the mama? Not the papa? The dinosaur show. DaBaby. What the fuck? Ice Cube, right? Tupac. DaBaby. Fuck this shit. It's one of the most popular rappers right now. People applaud mediocrity in these days and times. No brains, no ability and skills, yet you can become a hit. I tell you one person I don't really give a shit about is the 21 Savage. The fucking mumbler. Fucking mumbler, right? And some rappers before him, Here's what you do. Listen to 21 Savage. Listen to DaBaby. Then listen to Eminem. It becomes clear and apparent who has the actual talent and who's just coming in to be a fad and everything. So this is what's incredibly popular, right? I mean, say what you will about Drake. Drake's not that terribly talented, I don't think, but at least he's you can listen to Drake and his songs are, he's got a couple of good songs, but this new crap and everything, it's I don't know, just things got progressively worse, I think, in rap, after maybe 2010, 2011, look back on some songs, not even hard rap or, well, 9 times up. I really like to keep these responses to be under a minute. So maybe we might talk about more rap in the future, huh? Or just music stuff. String Theory 51. Hancock has lost all perspective, but does represent where he is at, lost in the wilderness alone. I don't think that represents the museum, the museum quest. Because what the fuck, you're going to make a game out of it? I wonder if that was the idea. Okay, maybe it was. Maybe he was actually going to get with somebody, maybe somebody that makes video games, and actually make a quest for the museum video game, but maybe it fell through. And maybe he made the merch for it, huh? Maybe he made the merch for it, and then he never really advertised the merch on his channel. But he figured, well, I have all this merch I made, so might as well just, put it on to sale and everything. I'd be curious to see actually how much of it is actually sold. Because it's one thing to buy some John Hancock t-shirts, but to buy some t-shirts for something that doesn't exist and is never going to exist, that'd be band tour shirts for a tour that never really happened or something like that. Or maybe shirts for a game like Scalebound. Hey, yeah, perfect example. That might be a rare item. Scalebound t-shirts. I wonder if there's any Scalebound t-shirts that maybe were made before the game cancellation. I don't know, it's an interesting thought. Andrew Lazen. James seems like he is a straight-up cold-blooded businessman. Do not let how he acts all friendly to videos with James and Mike Mondays fool you. It is just an act. I bet they're not even friends in real life either. He just cut Mike loose when he no longer served a purpose. Huh. It's an interesting thought, Andrew. Interesting thought. James is seen like one of the most wholesome people. One of the most wholesome and honest people on YouTube. And I just don't really feel that. I don't get that. I just personally don't. And I think why a lot of people are kind of coming around to it is they look at that and they say, wait a second. This guy that's just so wholesome. And there was a lot of comments on that upload, basically comments basically saying he's wholesome. And some of those seem like just planted there. So maybe they're trying to plant that he's an incredibly wholesome person. I just never bought that. I just never bought that he's wholesome. I mean, nowadays, if you're going to throw your friends under the bus, only give them a 15-second mention, it just feels like he is, well, he's in bed with Screamwave, of course, but it feels like he is not fighting for his friends, basically. And he just seems to me like a cold-blooded sellout in respects. So that could be a real shocking thing. Maybe he's not this character he makes out to be. YouTubers create these characters to make money. Maybe it's just a whole empire around someone he really isn't even is. I know it's a shocking thought to a lot of people, but it's possible. Haddington Rose, merge for something that doesn't exist. He doesn't even have the excuse of, well, we had to cancel due to C-19, like Star Wars Celebration 2020 had. Well, of course, the COVID-19, that's because the museum didn't get off the ground. So Haddington Rose, that's why the museum is going to be delayed a year into 2026, naturally, because he has a lot of things to do to make that museum happen. Yeah, but that's, again, the merge for something that doesn't exist. Toe Sin started. None of his YouTubing buddies have shown any of his merch in their own man cave or gaming rooms. A real funny concept, though. Well, here's the thought. Maybe he knows this bullshit, and that's why he doesn't show the merch on his own channel. And I could be wrong. I could be mistaken on this because, I haven't visited his channel in quite a while. So if he is, then that takes away my line of thinking. But if the Metal Jesus and Radical Reggie is not showing his museum merch or the mugs, then maybe it's like he just wants to kind of make them, and that's for his diehard fans. But he kind of knows it's bullshit, but he doesn't mind if people are actually going to buy that. Or maybe somebody might ask him, hey, the museum's not happening. Well, I have merch on the channel, so obviously I wouldn't make merch for something that's not going to happen, even though he fucking would. Scam artist. Billy Sosa, it was that easy, and Rick might have to do some research of my own. Well, it wasn't bad research. It wasn't. Now, Belle Delphine is not my type, I would say. I like him like a little bit, with a little bit more cake, like a little thicker. She's just not, that's not a body type I like. But you know what? She's not bad looking, and she seems to be loaded with enthusiasm. Definitely, I would say she has more enthusiasm for that than her YouTube channel, right? And again, the yoga ball with all the stuff sticking out of it. Kind of interesting uploads, right? Yeah, I mean, I just laugh thinking about, the yoga ball with, yep. I need to check out some more of her uploads, right? And somebody asked me where you can check that out, okay? And they wanted me to leave a link. Celebrity Jihad. That's where I saw the videos. Ajog. The first person I remember being replaced on a show, but it's the same character, is Darren from Bewitched. Years before on Viv, and like another poster said, Becky from Roseanne was replaced as well. Yeah, I forgot about Becky from Roseanne. Of course, like I watch a lot of these shows, on TV Land or in syndication, everything like that. But it's interesting to go back in time and see how many of these characters were replaced, and then you see a new character, and you're like, well, what the fuck's going on? But yeah, sometimes the show is just so popular where they're gonna continue it. And what are you gonna do? Cancel the show, right? I guess it maybe also depends on the character, right? Because 2.5 Men, Charlie Sheen left 2.5 Men, and then they had that guy come in, Ashton Kutcher, which I was like, I don't get it. Like, I just don't understand that. And I don't know, how long did 2.5 Men last after Ashton Kutcher came in there? Just seemed like not a good fit at all. Also, that ranch show with Ashton Kutcher, I didn't like that. I didn't care for that much. Shinra returns. Happy New Year to Rick and all in the anti-e-beggar community. Well, I've never really claimed to be a part of this anti-e-beggar community, right? Like, I don't like e-begging, but the thing is, like, when you develop like a community, then there are certain expectations for it, I suppose. So I am more like in the common sense community, right? Like just common sense. And the people, I mean, it's no problem that people like will call it that. But I think when you give it that kind of name, it doesn't do a lot of good for what you're trying to, if you're trying to accomplish a spreading of common sense. So I think pro common sense is more like it, or, you know, because the thing is, like, people will say it's really negative. Anti is being negative. So I think as far as like, if, and I would never have the time to really make it like a gigantic movement or anything like that. But if you did, like really thinking about it realistically, if you wanted to change some things, like from the ground up, you would have to sell it as something pro and positive, because anti seems to have the connotation of negative, is what I'm saying. That's why so many people are seen as just being hateful and trolls that actually, you know, speak the truth and have common sense, you know. Haddington Rose. True, Mike should have at least got 30 seconds. I mean, for everything he's done, at least half a minute. I do agree. Nothing to add to that, but Haddington Rose, I do agree. Like 30 seconds, you know? Maybe that's all he was allowed to say, right? Because, yeah, I mean, Screenwave owns everything now. They run everything. Maybe he had to, like, beg them, hey, can I mention Mike for, like, you know, 30 seconds? No, 15 seconds. And then talk about how great we are after you talk about Mike. Yes, bosses. Remember the great sports. Don't forget Becky on Roseanne was two different actresses that they played off as the same. But the first Becky is back on the Connors reboot on ABC. I'm sure that gets confusing, right? Also going way back on Bewitched back in the 60s, they had two Darren Stevens. I'm probably missing a couple others. Come on, this comment about Beck sets you up to talk. Okay, 1225. This comment about Beck sets you up for, yes, I shaved my face with Mace in the Dark. Yeah, some great songs by Beck. I love Beck. I have a thought about Jeopardy. It's really sad that Alex Trebek passed away. 46 years he was on that show. 46 years. I think it's the longest running game show of all time, if I'm not mistaken. Remember the great sports. Do you see anyone replacing him on Jeopardy? Imagine, like, filling in those shoes. So I don't know if they're going to continue with Jeopardy or not. Haddington Rose. Again, I know who's going to take over for James. That weird heavyset guy who's obsessed with Ginger. He tries to take over when they do those crappy movie reviews, so he wants to be the main person. Ginger? Haddington Rose, what the fuck is Ginger? Sorry, I don't know what a Ginger is. And when you say weird heavyset guy, which one? Tosin Starden. I saw a kid Shrokin upload, which was very interesting, and he explains how he had been approached by Screenwave and other MCMs this year and wanted to make a video asking his audience to chime in on their thoughts and opinions, even though he has some reservations about giving it a real go. I imagine a lot of YouTubers made their tie-ins before even reaching out to their own audience for some guidance beforehand. That's interesting. I think if it's a big decision, like if it's a big landmark decision you're going to make for the channel, then you should do an upload and just ask people about what they think about it. By the same token, every little thing, you know, if people get like mad about like every little thing you do on your channel, you know, at some point, I think you strike a balance between what you want to do on your channel and also some feedback you get from your audience who have invested a lot of time in your channel. But talking about MCNs, I often thought, like, what would happen if I was approached by one of these MCNs? Like, it wouldn't be incredibly shocking, you know, because during times in 2019, when the channel was probably at its peak in popularity, I seem to remember that there were some weird comments I got. And it was kind of weird. And it was like some comments that were kind of like fluffing me up and like trying to say all these things. And I was like, and also a couple comments saying like, hey, you know, how do we reach you? Or people were asking like, hey, how do we reach you? And I think back and I think to myself, you know what? Maybe there was a lot of people actually trying to reach me, or I'm not saying specifically Screenwave or whatnot, but I don't know. I could basically see that happen. As far as like MCNs, I really probably wouldn't mess with MCNs. You know, I probably would not. And last we got Larry Bundy Jr. He left this comment on my comedy cuts. Where your donations to Metal Jesus go? He's not had his dark side filled in. Smiley face. There was a couple responses to you, Larry. One was from Energy Turtle, talking about asking if you're still friends with Silent Rob. I don't know if you do the live streams, Larry Bundy. I don't know if you take donations. I don't know how you feel about Silent Rob taking in large donations for just playing video games, right? Now, I don't know if Silent Rob has a Patreon, but let's be honest here. You know, the Patreon is at least like limited. You know, so you can make the argument taking in large donations for just playing fucking Mario and shit like that. That's far worse than a Patreon with a $10 tier. That's right, Metal Jesus has a $10 maximum tier. Not too bad, really, compared to a lot of other channels. Larry Bundy has a $10 tier. Not too bad compared to a lot of different channels. So, do you understand what I'm saying here? Larry, one can draw a argument that you are equivalent to Metal Jesus, at least on the Patreon front. Not saying you run any scams like the Basement League thing, but let's just look at things objectively here, right? Fair and objectively. This might shock a lot of people, but I don't think in 2021, Metal Jesus is one of the worst YouTubers in a lot of ways. And that's coming from me. I don't think that. Okay? I think some others are far worse, you know, in a lot of different respects. Especially on Patreon. That fucker ACG, whatever that review channel, he has a $300 Patreon tier. Yongye has a $200 Patreon tier. And like I said, you know, I don't know if Metal Jesus actually gets on gaming live streams and takes in large donations, but Silent Rob sure as hell does. Let's see. And someone left a link, Hayden Puds, to the Patreon of Larry Bundy, right? It's weird, you know. Sometimes Larry will come here and people will sometimes come by and say, hey, Rick, you know, how do you feel about Larry Bundy, right? You talk about e-beggars a lot. What about Larry Bundy? Does he classify? Let me reiterate this. Anyone who takes donations from people online, I would classify as a e-beggar. I would. Yeah, I would. So just putting it out there and everything. Yeah. Is that going to be it? I think it's going to be it, right? I'm going to get back to just chilling and drinking and having a great night. Hope everyone's having a great night too. Take care.